evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join our community this evening. This is our first Global Studies speaker of the year. We're going to have another one, and we hope that this becomes a tradition for our Global Studies program. And we're super excited to get it started. A few housekeeping items before we get started. First, who am I? My name is Hagee, Mrs. Hagee, who a lot of you. I am the chair of the history department here at Rolling Hills and Renaissance Schools, and I am also a teacher in the classroom. I'm also currently coordinating the Global Studies program, and that's the program that is actually sponsoring tonight's event. We are going to start for about 40 minutes, and we're going to have a conversation with our author tonight, and a very special guest of honor. And then after that conversation between our author and myself, then we're going to do a 20-minute question and answers, and that's you guys. So please feel free to participate. Please think about what you're hearing and think about questions or even comments during that time, because that's going to be a time where the audience has an opportunity to participate. And then our lovely guest of honor will be spending time at the end with this book signing. So if anybody would like to purchase the book that we're going to be talking about at great lengths tonight, it will be available for $15, and it can be signed as well, personalized, okay? All right, bathrooms, for those of you who may need a potty break. And please, if you do, don't wait. We'd rather you go to the potty outside. You go right outside these doors, and you take a right, and you go all the way down and around the main office and down the steps to the right, and there are both male and female bathrooms, and a family bathroom as well. And lastly, you paid to come tonight, and I want to thank you for that, because that's a direct donation. 100% of all of the entrance fees tonight to our program is going directly to the Global Studies Costa Rica Service Learning Trip. So that money will go directly to the community where we will be traveling to over spring break. So thank you so much for coming tonight, because what you are raising is money for a very, very good cause. And that kind of goes in line with a lot of our guests tonight and her vision as well. So tonight, we have the pleasure of hearing a wonderfully inspiring story about a daughter, a wife, a mother, and an immigrant, and generally the power of giving. A quote that I really enjoyed from this book was, "When we discover our purpose, we find our way and our strength. We can end any discourse and disharmony in our lives and live the most fulfilled life ever." These are very inspirational words by Bineta Ngom, our guest of honor tonight. So please help me welcome her to the stage. Well, welcome. This is very exciting. Did you want to take a moment and address the audience?
Yes. First of all, I don't thank you for the opportunity. Thank the head of the school, everyone, and every student here, every parent. This is an opportunity for me to share my story. I also want to give a very special thanks to someone who really changed my life. I'm a professional, but it's someone I really want to thank so much. I was listening one day to someone talking about giving, and he said, in this world, there are 4 groups of people. People who watch things happen, people who let things happen, people who don't know what happened, and there is a 4th group, people who make things happen. And it wasn't for Coach Tani, I wouldn't be here today. My son wouldn't be here today. So it's special. I thank you so much for everything you've done for me and for my family. I also want to thank his wonderful wife, Shannon, for everything she's done, all the help, all the coaches, Coach Negan calling me every time to say he needs some help, because they know I need help. All the parents. Every single time I talk to them, they're like, if you need help, let us know. The administration. I mean, it's just very inspiring to be in an environment like this. And that's my first time having this opportunity. And And I really thank God for this. And I thank everyone here for your support and for coming. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're super glad to have you. Wow, what a story. Holy macaroni. $15, best $15 you're ever going to spend right here, folks, okay? Super inspiring story. So Bineta is the author of Becoming an Angel of Change. And it is through this book that she shares her inspiration to improve global communities throughout her own empowering story. And boy, it was really empowering. So her book has been broken into 3 parts. So the first part of her book was kind of an introduction to her early life. The second part of the book talks about her journey as an immigrant to the United States, which, wow, wasn't easy, and what heartache you had to go through. Some really fascinating insight you share, especially for, to someone who is already an American citizen and thinks, that this is probably the best and easiest place, in the sense to live, and you made some incredible, insightful comments on it. It's really hard to make it in America, it's a hard place to live, and it's really interesting for someone who's coming from, Africa and a developing area of Western Africa. So I thought that was so inspiring, and it's so counterintuitive for me. And then the third part is just this book was just about this journey of learning and then going from the learner to the teacher, and being able to go out and do what you're doing tonight and sharing your story and making sure that your journey, can touch the lives of other people, and it's like a pebble in a pond, you just toss it in the ripples, and all tonight, hopefully, these people in your audience can really become that part of a ripple in the pond and hit the farthest shore, So, wow, to get started, why don't we go back to where it all started, in Senegal. Your home in Senegal. No, I'm saying it wrong. Did you see how she said Senegal? Okay. I've studied many languages. I can really speak English, okay? So I'm going to just read my question to you. So, what are the 3 things you remember most about growing up in your hometown? And will you help me pronounce that too, Barney?
Barney.
It's Barney.
Yes.
It's simply Barney. Okay, that's exactly how it's spelled, Barney. Just a few miles outside of the capital.
Yes.
Just a car. The capital of Senegal. Dakar. Okay. Perfect. So tell me, what are your 3?
A lot of things, but the 3 most important thing I remember from Barney is what empowered me today. It's one, my grandfather. Losing my dad when I was 5, it was tough for my mom, but her father was there for her. But he was there for us too. Always giving us empowering words, because he knows that we were down. I was 5, but my mom was 28. She was not. So no one was there. And my grandfather wanted to make sure that we still have that confidence, that nothing is gone back this way. Your father is gone, but you have that way, and you'll do better. And my grandfather was coming in our house almost every single day to see how we manage ourselves.
And how far away was he? Close? He's in the
Yes, it's just a walking distance.
Okay.
And they walk in Barney in the morning at 6 a.m. That's when people talk. At 6 a.m. you see your mom, with the group. You see your grandfather with his group. It's just the whole village is awake.
At 6?
Yes, at 6. And they walk and conversation until 7, 8, and everybody go back home to eat. So, and we grew up in that environment where my grandfather would come home with his friends. And everything they're talking about is about life. It's about life. Hold your head up. Don't back down. Don't think that your father is not here. There is no more money. The situation is hard, that you have to be weak. No. And he was just giving us this word, telling us these stories that empower us. The second thing is moving into our new house. Because when my father passed away, we went to my grandfather's house. And we stayed there for 2 years. Because they didn't want my mom to be alone. She was young. So we stayed there, and after 2 years, we moved into our new house. It was a big house. My father was, he has a big vision, but it was not done. So we were enjoying it. It was our first time being alone with our mom after 2 years. It was incredible. We just decorate our house. We were just happy kids.
Yeah, in the book you shared,
Yes.
you were just running around.
Running around,
Yes,
jumping
running around,
around, we were
jumping.
very happy, putting some color, painting the walls. It was something we're still talking about it today. The third one is the children, unfortunately, living in the street. We have children, coming from the neighboring countries, 4 children, they live in the street. But those kids were the joy of my life. I spend time with them, I talk with them, you can have fun, you laugh, you cry. Those kids are my reason for being here. Because my goal, my long-term goal, it's a long-term goal, but I wake up with this goal every single day to build a church for the children. They are awesome, they are beautiful, they are in the street, they don't ask for nothing, they are very humble. And they touch my life.
Yeah.
They really changed my life.
Like the family that you spoke about, where you asked the little children, where did they come from?
Where they live.
Where you live, and you found this man and his wife who had, what is it, 20?
Yes.
20 children that they had
Yeah,
taken in.
20 children that live there, 7 are orphans.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, they don't know their parents,
Yeah.
responsible parents who don't know, where are their children. And they were running in the street, no shoes, nothing. And I took them to the store, buy the shoes, and all they were doing is this happiness. It's just like a kid out of shoes, but the kids thought that this was life. They were so grateful for that. And I walked with them to the house, and I asked their master, what's going on? What happened in your house? And he was like, these children need help. They were in the street, and I took them with me in my house. Some of them, I don't even know them. Some of them were like 2 years old, right? I can leave them outside. So those are stories that really stay with me today.
And how old were you when you made that first, you had that first moment? I think you were kind of looking at the window and there was a street kid sitting out there. And how old was that when you were really first called and you just, God spoke to you, or you're internally you just knew? How old were you?
I was 16.
You were 16.
I was 16 years old. When people are outside playing game, I was in my room thinking something needs to be done. Because I talk about the story of my brother dying in my hand. Because we don't have doctors around, we don't have shelters, we don't have hospital. And it was tough, but looking at my mom going through what she went through, I was always thinking, can I do something? Yeah, what can I do? Can I do something? Because this is so painful to see people, suffering like that.
Yeah, from reading it was hard to read. It's hard to, children, all over the world, there's children that suffer everywhere, right? And no man-made political border should create a hierarchy for who gets cared for and who doesn't. All children are born into this world, this globe, equally, and they all should be loved and cared for, and everyone should try to do whatever they can to make sure the children of the world are cared for. Thank you for realizing that at 16. Holy moly. Grandpa was super important, huh?
Oh, it was.
You mentioned in here that there was just something that he wanted to, just a list of principles that he sat you guys down and he made very clear to you. And I just want to share briefly a couple. So this is basically what they are. This is how I want you to live your lives, right? This is a belief system and a guide. If you know who you are, no matter how strong the struggle is, you will pull through it, like an eagle in a storm. Avoid distraction. Wow, welcome to the United States, right? We live in a world of distraction. If you don't know where you're going, listen, if you don't know where you're going, return to your starting point and find your way. Don't keep going, right? Don't keep going. Don't waste your time on meaningless things. Just think about this, you guys. So she's sitting there, and this is her grandpa just giving her these pearls of wisdom, these things to live by. Don't waste your time on meaningless things. Whatever you don't want your kids to do in the future, don't you do it now. Don't ever kick your children out of your home. No matter. I see you. My daughter's in the audience, and she just looked at me and she went like that. Yeah. Okay, all right. That's not that I would. But I mean, you know, raise your children. You know, he's basically telling you, please raise your children.
Yes.
Which takes me to someone else who's incredibly important in your life, and you love dearly, and you could tell it just came off the pages. So I'm going to just read 2 quotes from the book. Mama made sure that whenever an item came into the house, another one went out, because she liked to give things away and also wanted to keep our house airy, open, and uncluttered. Mom again. Women are the backbone of the society. And if a woman is well educated, she can raise a whole village. Wow. That is true. Women, as the mothers and wives, therefore have roles that are pertinent to the development and success of their immediate societies. Huge. That's huge.
It is families. It's
Family.
very important in Senegal, families.
Family.
Because,
So keep going. Tell us about mom and,
Yes.
and mom and you and all of the story.
The thing that inspired me about her is going through what she went through. And what she was looking for is always some place she can go to make a difference in those people's life. Regardless of what she was going through. Every Sunday my mom had to make sure that those children did. Every Sunday, no matter what, no matter what we're going through, those children will do. And we grew up like that every Sunday. And she always said, no matter what you're going through, there is always something you can do to make a difference in someone else's life. And that is true, because if we just look at our struggle, oh, I'm going through this, you're not going to be able to help someone else. But you always have something you can use to help someone else, no matter what. Even if that's putting a smile in that person's face.
Absolutely.
It's just simple. It's just so simple to change a person's life. Very simple.
So time. Time is one of the best things you can give someone. You know? Sometimes it's just as simple as time. It doesn't have to be any kind of fancy gift or anything. It's just your time and your care and your love.
Your care and your love. I come from a store like just a few months ago. I didn't have any money with me, but there was a homeless in front of me, and I just stopped and said, "Hi, my brother, how are you?" And I smiled, and he said, and I was just looking for coins, and he said, "Don't look for coins. For more than 10 years, I didn't have this. No one stand in front of me, look at me in the eye, and said, "Hi, my brother, how are you?" My day is over. You don't need to give me anything. It was so powerful, so empowering. My whole day was just to tell you how simple you can change someone else's life. You don't need to have money, you don't need to do anything. Just stop, look at people, respect them, smile, say hi, move on. Very simple.
It is simple. But it's still so hard for some of us on some days, you know? It's like, so let's move on to your the next part of your story, which is this immigration story, and we could spend a long time here because wow, that was a journey for you. So you were away from your husband for quite a few years, and then ultimately wanted to go see him like 9 years.
Yes.
And you were only planning to go away for 2 months.
For 2 months. Yeah.
And then something happened, baby. And so 2 months turned into 9 months, and what a journey that was, you know. And throughout your book, in the second part, you talked very much about how deep your faith was in God, and how, you know, you had to keep going back to prayer and hope and faith and faith and faith and faith to just kind of trust the process. You were sad, and it was hard. You missed a husband on one side, and you went over to the husband, and you missed your son on the other, your oldest son. Yeah. When you found out you were pregnant, you had a dream.
Yes.
Okay. Your son you thought was your daughter actually. Sorry.
Yeah, she's like that.
Sorry there. Yep. So the doctor said that there might be a chance that your child might have a birth defect.
Yes.
And you were devastated.
I was very devastated.
And then you had this dream, and I want to just go back to the text here. I decided to believe in my dream and shift my thoughts towards being positive. As soon as I started focusing on a healthy baby, my pain began decreasing. Everything started shifting to a whole new level. I began to feel more confident that I would have a healthy baby. I began to accept the situation no matter what it was going to be. And here, I'm leading up to this. I concluded that this was God's will and I couldn't do anything about it. I needed to just have faith and remain strong. It is unbelievable to see, how my life changed by just changing my thoughts. So, tell me how you dealt with all of this, your loneliness, and then ultimately the beautiful gift of the birth of
Yeah, it was lonely. Coming from Senegal, they went to Senegal. It's just about family. You cannot be alone in Senegal. My mom right now lives in her house with great grandchildren. Everybody's in one house. So when we go to Senegal, even though we have our house, but we don't want to be in our house because it's so good to be with people. So Senegal is just about family. So I came here in the United States for 2 months. That's what helped me in the beginning. That's okay, I'm going to just be here for 2 months. And everything went easy. Then I became pregnant and I had to wait so I can give my child the opportunity to have the citizenship, something like that. But when the doctor told me that everything, I lost everything. I was trying to be positive because I have children waiting for me in Senegal that I want to help. I have a woman I wanted to help. It's like there was no dream anymore. I'm like, what am I going to do with, sick baby in Senegal? Because to me, I have to return.
And there's no medical care, there's no social welfare, there's nothing
there. And I was struggling with that. And at the same time, I wanted to be healthy and have a healthy baby. At the same time, I was thinking about my 9-year-old son, who's in my country, talking to me every day, Mom, when are you coming? When are you coming? So I was juggling with all this kind of stuff, and it was so hard. And one day, early in the morning, I decided to meditate. Around 6 a.m., I was not sleeping. I just lay down, closed my eyes, and there was this voice, very clear. I couldn't see the person. And the only word I could take from the conversation, because he was talking. I was talking, but our voice was muted. So, and he said, why are you worried? And disappeared. So, I woke up in the morning and I talked to my husband about it. My husband said, I believe in that dream. Please, because he was so tired too. I was crying, I was stressed out, and he wanted that to stop. He said, you know what, I believe in your dream. Nothing's going to be wrong with that baby. She will be fine. Please believe in that. Just believe, just pretend. So you can be at peace. Just pretend that she will be fine. For 2 days, I couldn't. I'm like, what if? That boys come. Yeah. What if that happens? How are you going to deal with that? Then I decided, maybe that's God talking to me. Let me just believe in my God. There is a power behind that is moving the pieces, and I'm positive about that. I have to believe in that power. My baby will be fine. And I believe in that. And it's so, like I said in the book, it's so amazing how I was different the next day. Just by changing my thoughts. She will be fine, I will be fine, I'm going back home, and everything will be fine. I just keep telling that to myself. From time to time, a negative thought comes. You're not going to be fine. You're going to have a sick baby. something like that. But I keep, the positivity. And thank God. She was the healthiest baby.
Oprah. Yep, I said it. Oprah. Apparently, you were watching her. And a lot, yeah? So there's a whole chapter on Oprah where you share how you watched the Oprah Winfrey Show, how it helped you survive. You came to the conclusion that you had to be strong and courageous to be in America. You came to the conclusion that you were meant to be in America so you could go back home to teach. But then things changed again. And you realized that really you were meant to stay in America. So again, another change for you to have to decide. So you speak in this chapter about role models and just what a role model is and how and how we should strive just to be the most positive people that we can be. Yeah. And we talked a little before how ultimately, you know, the best leader is a leader who serves. It's service. It's just straight up service. That's the definition of leadership. So tell me, you know, you got it. I mean, I set it up like this is our Oprah moment, right? So just tell me about this impact that Oprah had on you.
Oh yeah, a big impact.
Yeah,
Because that's what I was doing in my country, is helping people. So when I came here, when I was coming, I told my son, I'm going to America, I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to come back. Because if you are outside America, you think that when you come to America, the money is everywhere. That's what we think. If you go to, that's why a lot of people want to come here. Millions of people dream to be where you are right now because of what you're seeing in the outside. So I was like, I'm going for 2 months, I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to have a better life. So when I came, I couldn't even see my husband. He was working 7 days a week, from 7 to 7, and that's when I sat him down and said, what is this? What kind of life is this? And he explained all the bills, you know, whatever, you know, he was doing. But I'm like, okay, anyway, we are preparing to go home. The goal was to pack my luggage and to go home. And I was preparing, if I go home, how to continue my service with the women and children. When one day he just woke up and said, by the way, this is a show. I've been here for 13 months and never saw Oprah in the show. Who was every day on the TV. Right. What happened? Why God hide that from me? So, and he said, by the way, this is a show at, you know, Channel 7, and you can watch it at 3. I click the channel, I look at Oprah, and the first thing I noticed is goosebumps everywhere. Oprah was talking about what I wanted to hear in my life. Serving people. Helping people. I stopped everything I was doing and I started watching, listening attentively to what she was talking about, how she's talking about it, what she wore. Everything, every single detail was important for me. I'm like, this is a person I can listen to. But still, I was, you know, in my mind going home. 1 week, 2 weeks, I started to change my mind. I was listening to what I needed. I was helping people in my country. Momentarily, I got a job, was helping people. But with Oprah, what I got from her was who really I was, from within. It's not because when you want to help people and you just have the money, one day the money may not be there. But if you know who you are, there's no limit, you are limitless. So that's what I was learning from her. The strength, the potential I have, and I never knew I had. I just wanted to help people. If I went back to my country, I would just help people, go to work, get the money, you know, feed the people and the kids. But what I learned from her was more powerful than that. And that's what I'm using now to help more people, is to raise awareness about who we are. Because if they got that, they can help themselves. And that's the powerful thing that I said after 1 month of fashion, I'm staying. I decided. I am going to stay in the United States of America. And recently I was just researching how much money American people, like you parents, how much money they are putting for charitable cause. Like in 2017, $410 billion. 410 billion, out of those 410 billion, 70% are from individuals. Wow. So the power in this country, when you come from outside, you see it, you want to know that, you want to follow that. You don't want to go away from that, especially coming from where I come from, knowing that I was just helping people. I wanted to know that. I wanted to know why America is America. That's part of it. The giving spirit in this country has more important.
Thank you. That's a wonderful comment. Thank you. All right, so tell me about that day when your son finally arrived home. Tell us a little bit about how many years you didn't see him when your firstborn. This is your firstborn.
My firstborn. I left when He was 9, and I saw him when he was 17.
9. She didn't see him again until he was 17. That's a mother's heartbreak right there.
Heartbreak, you know, up and downs all the time, crying. You know, at a certain point, my son didn't want to talk to me anymore because I broken so many promises. I'm coming, and I was waiting for papers. Like, you know, I'm an immigrant, and when you come, you want to have papers. So when I decided to stay, that was my first problem. How am I going back? Because if I go back, I won't be able to come back here. And I don't want to go back because I'm learning so many important things here that I can help my children with in the future. So he was 17 when he came, only speaking French, and had to go to high school. So that was like a roller coaster ride.
Sure, and tough on him too.
Very tough on him. He, you know, trying to fit in, just speak French, no one understand him. You know, he was bullied, he was, you know, insulted, you know, all those kind of stuff. But he was strong. I was there. That's when I decided to stop working. I'm going to stop working to support my child because I brought him here. I left him for so long. Now he's here. I have to be here for him. It was very emotional the first time I seen him. He was tall, you know. I left when he was like this, and when I saw him, he was just tall, you know, this handsome young man, very quiet, and it was very emotional. I missed 8 years of my son's life, you know, and I tried to, you know, do my best to help him. It was worth it, though.
It was, yeah, absolutely. The life he has now, and you know, you've said it. Your tradition and your community and your back home is one of family.
Yes.
He was never ever once alone or not taken care of.
Yes.
And it wasn't mom, but it was the second best thing.
Yes.
Okay, so our time's almost up, so I'd like you to end, if you would, by simply talking to us a little bit about where all this journey has brought you to here in LA and kind of your foundation and the impact you're having locally right here. And if you could just kind of close with a little bit of that, then we can turn to the audience and see if there's any questions.
Yes, after years of watching Oprah, reading, you know, her guests, you know, I was connected, buying books. I was at the library, you know, every time just to know more. And what helped me dissipate my pain is I was listening one day to Anthony Robbins. I think most of people they know him, and he said, pain is inevitable, but suffering is the choice. So I was just reading and reading it. We have choice in this life. So after listening to all of these people, I decided to take control of my life. I can do this now. You know, I can set my goals, follow my goals, manage my time. Because here in America, that's very important. To manage your time to do whatever you want to do instead of, you know, the distraction, because we have lots of distraction. So I decided I am going to share my story. That's the book. I want to share this story because I want to empower people. There were so many parents who were struggling. They left their children like me. They left their families, and they were here. And I was talking to a lot of people here. And, you know, they were suffering because it's painful to leave your family and to come and start again. So I said, I'm going to write a book. And then my negative thoughts come again. You cannot write it. You only speak French. But nobody knows you here. And I decided I'm going to write a book, share my story, and hopefully it's going to help someone else and dissipate their pain. That's the reason I have this book. And then I decided, oh, I can have a foundation. I didn't know that. Okay, let me start. And I got up in the morning, go to the library, how to create a foundation. And it will be step by step how to create my foundation. I created the foundation in 2006, and I went to downtown with my husband, and I saw homeless people everywhere. I'm like, I want to start here. I cannot skip this and go to my family to help. How am I going to do it? I'm going to feed the homeless people. That's how I started. That's where we went with the basketball team with Coach Kitani, with the Fairfax High School, and the best basketball here, and we went and feed the homeless. Very simple, very empowering, very inspiring. And the children knowing that they can do something, they have something to share. That's empowering. That's it can empower you, and it can give you more confidence, knowing that I have something to share. It's not just about me in life. We are here, we have been given the opportunity to be here to serve, nothing else. That's my belief, that's what my mom taught me, that's what my grandfather taught me, and nothing in my life can make me happy better than that. If I'm serving people, I'm fulfilled, I'm done. I don't want anything else. And I want my children to know that, and I do that with them. We go to downtown and we feed the homeless. And it's very empowering. So I decided to have a foundation, still helping women and children in my country. I am still doing that. I'm paying for college for kids in my country, handicapped kids who really want to study. They don't have opportunities. They're 16, 14, 18. They want to go to school. Their dream is to go to school. Sometimes they don't have the opportunities other children have here. That's why I always tell them, don't take anything for granted. Don't take your parents for granted. They love you unconditionally. They want you to be successful. Don't take anything for granted. Do something in this life. You are here for something. Don't wait. You can do something, no matter how old. I was 16 when I was running around my communities in Bani to help elderly people. And it was joy, it was just fulfilled. So here, the same thing, you are in school, you can do that. I take my children to go to the homeless people and feed them. So the foundation is growing. We are paying for school in Senegal. We are, helping women and children. And the goal is to have shelters and women centers. That's where we're heading. And I am very grateful to be here. I am very blessed to be here. And I can speak for most of my Senegalese people here. It's a blessing to be here because it's an eye-opener. Your mind expands. You are there and you are just doing one thing. You come here, the opportunities are endless and you are limitless. It's up to you to decide today to move on in your life and to do something great and something positive.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Okay, so questions. What questions do you have for our guests tonight?
How are the foundations going in Senegal now?
It's going great. In Senegal, we have children right now who are going to school and we're paying for their scholarship. So the foundation is taking care of that. For women, there are some women, what they need is just to open businesses so they can support their children. We don't have social services in Senegal. Like 2 years ago, the government started a program to give some families, a little bit of money to support them, but that's not enough, and that's not all the women who are, So we help them to do that, to start up a business, so at least they can support their children. Some of them are widows, some of them are divorcees, some of them are left, by their husband, and there is nothing. And with $50, you give them $50, it's $25,000 in my country. They can start up a business and help their children. So that's something.
And I love the fact that it's not just a gift of money, right? It's about teaching them the responsibility to have sustainability.
Yes.
It's about empowering them to create an income for themselves. It's a startup.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, incredibly important too, that the purpose of the foundation isn't just to give people a helping hand every now and then. It's about enabling them and empowering them to start something that's then sustainable for them.
For them.
So they can take care of themselves. Because ultimately that's what we want. We want to be able to take care of ourselves. We don't want to have to be a burden on someone else. And none of these people who are suffering want that. But have a disadvantage of some type that has landed them there. So this ability to do that on their own is fantastic. Another question.
It's actually a two-part question. Earlier in the evening, you mentioned that you knew Coach Barney and Shannon. How did you guys meet? And then also, what makes the relationship so special between you and Coach Barney?
Thank you for your question.
I'm going to repeat it just so everyone can hear it. So, Mr. Nishikawa asked, how did you meet Coach Katani and his lovely bride, Shannon? And then ultimately, what makes that relationship that you have with the Katanis so special?
Thank you so much. I met Coach Katani at Fairfax. He was Barbara's coach.
Her son.
And he was so open, like the group, the folk group I'm talking about. People who make this happen. People who do that because that's who they are. That's the beauty of it. They don't do it because they know you. He didn't know me as them. But I could walk to Coach Kitani's office and talk to him about my problem with Barbara. Barbara is not studying on time, or Barbara is not doing his homework. He said, let me handle that. Why it was important to me, I am alone in this country. And my husband left. I was a single mom. They don't have an uncle here. And in my country, they said, man, a father figure is very important in the house. They didn't have that. But I have Coach Kitani there helping me whenever I need help. And then that's how I met everyone, his wife, Coach Needham, Corey, all the coaches from Fairfax to Wellington West. There are coaches that still call me to ask me anything. That's powerful. I'm so grateful for that. So grateful. And he's not expecting anything in return. That's who he is. I just take Coach Kitani as my brother here in America because I don't have any here. My brother, I had two brothers here, they left. So my husband left, my two brothers moved, one in Canada, one in Washington, and I'm here with my children, and I'm very grateful for them. They are helping, they are very good children, they listen, and I have Coach Kitani and his team on my side, and I cannot be more grateful, seriously, for that relationship.
What a testimony. We're very lucky to have them. One more question. The last question of the night. Who up? Morning.
What gave you the courage at 16 to be able to believe? Because when you're 16, you know, age can be a factor to think that you really can't go out and make a difference. So what gave you the courage to be able to go out and believe in yourself to go out and make that difference?
I grew up watching my mom. I was very close to her. And she was suffering. I mean, at 28, you have to raise 5 children.
That was after your dad died.
After my dad passed, my mom never went to school, never walked outside the house. Thank God my grandfather was there, and I have 2 uncles who were there to help too. But no matter how they help, you can see, you can feel your mom. I was very close to her, and sometimes my mom would fast for us to eat. And I was there watching that, seeing that, asking myself the question, why is it happening? Why my mom is suffering? I grew up asking myself the question, and those questions helped me like, who am I? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I here for? All those questions, I still asking those questions to myself, and you get answers. Every single time you ask those questions, you get answers. So instead of doing anything else, sometimes be alone. Love yourself. I love myself so much. I spend so many hours just sitting down in my house, just thinking, just meditating about life. Because we are here to serve. How can we serve? How can we make it better for other people? It doesn't matter who they are, black, white, Muslim, Jewish. It doesn't matter. We are all one. We are individuals and we are indivisible. We are all one. So together, we can do whatever we want to do. But there is no difference. Life is just beautiful, and if you understand that concept about life, you live with no stress at all. It changed my life tremendously. Just by thinking that I am one with all of you, and I'm ready to do whatever it takes to help you, no matter how little you need that help. That's what made my life great.
And on behalf of everyone, I mean, I could not be more thankful to have this conversation with you. I'm very much welcome and fell in love with you. And it's just so nice to hopefully call you a friend after tonight. I'm so impressed with you, and thank you for all of your service. To all those who have benefited from you in the past, they're benefiting from you right now, and that are going to benefit you in the days to come. You are truly an angel of change, and you bring honor to your family. And thank you so much for joining us tonight on our first. It's going to be a hard act to follow. But thank you so much for coming tonight. You are an absolute blessing. Bineta's books are for sale. She will be at the table on the way out, and she would love to sign it. And if you would like to purchase a book, I highly recommend it. It was a fantastic book, inspiring, and please consider purchasing a book to support her and her journey to help others. And thanks to everybody for coming tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you.